Watched a show that did that every morning. Lady went, "Good morning, good morning."
I married a kook.
What?
I said I married a kook.
It took you 20 years to figure that out, or was it in like first 6 months?
Yeah. Line's off at 5:30 in the morning, and we are headed south from Ketchikan, Tongass Narrows in the no-wake zone. We are crossing the Dixon.
We're leaving Alaska. Oh, I'm so sad. I really have enjoyed it.
I'm sad. Alaska's freaking fantastic. Never done this trip, you got a boat, find a way, do it.
Make sure you plan well.
A lot of planning.
Know your boat.
A lot of planning, know your boat.
Bring tools.
Bring a mechanic.
The tour guide.
The tour guide. Bring coffee. So across the Dixon, what I'm looking for in weather, look at the wind. I want the wind speed to be as slow as possible. Under 10 knots, absolutely. Under 5 is better. I'm looking at the wind gusts, and you want the gusts to be low too, like 10 knots of gust. Or less. And then also look at the tide, which way the tide's going in relation to the wind. This morning we're supposed to have I think it's a northwest. I'll take a quick look, see what we got today. I looked last night. So Wendy says, Wendy's actually a decent app to use. So Wendy is saying for us crossing the Dixon, I've got 6 knots of wind from the northwest. It says I've got gusts to 9 knots. That's really important. Right there. It's gusts to 9 knots. To show the regular wind. Northwest wind to 5 knots. That's good. Look at the wave height. That's important too. And the wave height right there, it's saying 1 foot on 6 seconds, and move that around to see if it changes at all. Right there. So the simple formula to use is you want your period to be 3 times the wave height. So if you have 1 foot seas, then you want a 3 foot period, so 1 foot on 3 seconds would be good. You can go as low as double, so you can do 1 foot on 2 seconds, but that's as close as you want to go, and that's not going to be nearly as enjoyable as if it's 3 times. So 1 foot's not that big a deal, but imagine 4 foot seas, right? You don't want 4 foot seas on 4 seconds. You'd want 4 foot seas on 12 seconds, is what you want. Then it's like going through the mountains, right? You could do 4 foot on 8 seconds, not as enjoyable, but doable. But I'd rather wait till the period is 3 times what the height is. So we're looking at 1 foot in 6 seconds, which is looking really good for us. And then also I look at the tide, when the tide's going to turn, and we're basically looking at right here, we're looking at slack low tide, and the tide turns at 7:30, and we'll be at the Dixon probably an hour after that. So we're actually going to catch right after the tide turns on the incoming, and the incoming tide with a north-northwest wind, they should align where the wind and the waves are going the same direction. So the other thing I did too, looking at the weather window, was looking for how long the weather stays. I always look at the day before and the day after as well. We could have gone across the Dixon yesterday. I chose not to because it was a 3-day weather window that looked good to me, which should have been yesterday, today, tomorrow, and I want to take the middle day. That way, if the weather was to change or whatever, I don't get caught with the change. And I want to be right smack dab in the middle of it. So I'm hoping for flat as glass seas like we had coming up here on the Dixon. Keep my fingers crossed. You never know. But it's clear blue skies, which we've not seen in a long time up here in Alaska. A lot of rain, a lot of changing weather. Weather changes. I mean, if you're traveling 100 miles a day, you expect the weather to change on you drastically, going from one region to another. And that's normally what we've been doing. Most of the cities are pretty close to 100 miles apart. You go from Ketchikan to Petersburg, it's about 100 miles. You go from Petersburg to Juneau, it's about 100 miles. Juneau to Hoona, I think, was like 60 or 70 miles, yeah, something like that. But all in the course of a day, we would see torrential downpours, we'd see sun breaks, we'd see overcast, we'd see high wind, we'd see no wind. All in the course of the same day. It's been very adaptive up here on the weather. But today, it looks gorgeous outside. So, coming up on the end of the no wake zone up here, and ready to hit the throttles down. The other thing we're going to do too is once we get 3 miles offshore, we're going to mace rate again and empty our holding tank across the Dixon, because I know once we get to Prince Rupert, there's no sand pump outs. And we'll have to hold on to everything until we get back into the States, which will probably take us 7 to 9 days. It took us 9 days last time to get across.
We waited 2 days for it.
Yeah, and we had a couple days of waiting. We may have that again because Dixon's the first of our 4 gates to get through. It has the potential to be the worst of the 4. The next one is Cape Caution, going from say Shearwater into Port McNeill or Port Hartley. Either of those two. That's an open ocean crossing, similar to the Dixon, but not as big as the Dixon. It's probably a third less in size. So I'll have to wait for weather window for that one as well. And then after that, you've got Johnstone, Strait, and Seymour Narrows. We're actually, you always have to go through a little bit of Johnstone, at least on the north end. We're not going to go through all of Johnstone. We did that coming up. So instead, I'm going to sit down, look at a course, and go up through Dent Rapids. I've seen Johnstone at its worst. I know what flat seas are like at its best. So I don't need to go through Johnstone again. I want to see something different. Dent Rapids, if you guys never looked at Dent Rapids, you have to go through Dent Rapids at slack. When that tide's running through Dent, it'll be like whirlpools that are like 4 foot deep in the center, because the current will run at like 19 knots through there. So it's a force not to be reckoned with up there. Pretty cool. So we want to do that. And the other thing that's cool going up through Dent Rapids is most of the waterways are fairly protected on both sides of it. So weather is not as particular to get through it. It's more look at the tide tables and make sure you time it right. They say going through Dent, if you find yourself if you're going through Dent and you look around and you're by yourself, there's no other boats around, they say you've timed it wrong, and to go back. So and there's actually a couple of them, Dent and Yakolta, to get through. Then after Dent Rapids, they'll drop us down into Desolation Sound, and then from there it's Georgia Strait, and then home. So that's our next probably 7 to 9 days. And with that, I think we're ready to pop up my plane and get to Canada.
You're naked, Daddy.
Hope you don't mind. A little choppy out, not too bad.
Got an in-flight movie. No drinks yet or breakfast.
We are crossing the Dixon. Go off on my port side, right over there. Is Foggy Bay, popular anchorage spot when people are heading to or from the Dixon. If you're heading south, you can go to Foggy Bay. You can hang out there, wait your window, and then cross because it's the closest, best anchorage to the Dixon. If you're coming from the south, from Prince Rupert, a lot of the trawlers, they go 6-7 knots. It takes them all day to cross the Dixon, and they run out of time to get into Ketchikan because it's like another 35 miles from here to Ketchikan. So they'll cross from Prince Rupert, cross the Dixon, they'll go into Foggy Bay, wait for the night, and the next day get up and go to Ketchikan. But here's what the Dixon looks like right now. I would say the weather report was spot on. It looks like 1 foot swells, and they look to be on at least like a 7 or 8 second period. So we're doing 22 knots across them right now. A little bit of rocking and rolling, but not too bad. Another thing that might be of interest too is when you're planning your crossing and stuff on the weather, you do your own checks and stuff like talked about on weather. But if you got a friend, know somebody who's done it before, call them, have them look at the weather, and do a second check. When we were coming up here, we stayed at the Prince Rupert Rowing Yacht Club, and Kevin runs the show over there. He's really knowledgeable. Spent a bunch of time talking to him, and he double-checked my weather forecast, and also is a wealth of information on different anchorages. There's an island, Dundas Island, that if you get into trouble on the north side of Dundas Island, you can jet down there. There's some protected anchorages he says you can get into and wait out till the next day if weather conditions were to change and you found yourself stuck in the Dixon. It always helps to have a second check too, just to make sure. The weather forecasts are just that, they're forecasts and they can change. They can call for 1 foot seas and you can find yourself in 3 or 4 footers. But this is looking really nice. That's looking almost straight out to the west. That's all open ocean out there. Liz is wondering when the stewardess is going to come around and take her order for breakfast.
Still busy with the in-flight movie.
In-flight entertainment. took some screenshots of the chart plotter. That way they'll be clear. That shows what our course is. You know, you don't just follow auto guidance and do shortest path. You want to stay somewhat close to land as you come around. That's because Dundas Island will provide protection from a lot of the winds and stuff coming from Dixon. But with these rollers, it's just kind of like going through the countryside, riding the hills. It's not too bad. Easy cruise. Where are we?
Almost to Prince Rupert Yacht Club. Right?
That is correct.
Yacht Club.
We are in Canada.
Yay.
All cleared with customs. Using Nexus on the boat.
Although it's a little sad leaving Ketchikan.
It is sad leaving Ketchikan.
Really like the last one. Want to go back.
Love the last one.
Now we're headed home.
Now we are headed home. Now the BC Inside Passage is next on the list. So we're going to do a couple days in Prince Rupert Rowing Yacht Club. Today and tomorrow. Leave Wednesday, and I got to figure out where I'm going to go Wednesday. Pretty easy path. I mean, I got to go from Prince Rupert to Hartley Bay for gas, to Shearwater for gas, to Port McNeill for gas. Those are the stops, but I don't know where I'm going to stand for the anchorage stuff. I'll figure all that out.
I'll play Shearwater.
And then once we're at either Port Hardy or Port McNeill, whichever one we choose, then we're going to go up and do Dent Rapids, and then down into Desolation, across Georgia Strait, back to the San Juans, and back home. That's the plan. So crossing the Dixon was actually pretty good. Actually going north on the Dixon was better than us going south, but that's almost splitting hairs on the difference, because it was a little bit bumpy and some rollers, but the weather forecast was spot on. I mean, it was 1 foot and 8 seconds, maybe a 2 foot every once in a while, but I didn't get any water on the bow, you know, in the windows. That was good. Well, at least not until the last couple miles coming into Prince Rupert, which was really out once I got past the Dixon. But the Dixon was really nice. Good crossing. And had the tide kind of pushing us a little bit too, which was nice. And now we're back in the sunshine. Of course, Ketchikan, we had some sunny days there too. The last couple of days were pretty good. The barometer shows a high pressure coming in, which is really good. We're going into Prince Rupert. We got this little channel, so what we do is we come in. Let me scroll, I'll get this off and show you guys what it did. Down from the Dixon, from Ketchikan, across there, across the border. Okay, we had a little bit of chop right up in here. Don't mind this. Autopilot doesn't like, autoguidance doesn't like navigating through here, but I wanted to cut through here. It's pretty narrow. And then we're up here in this channel right now. I just turned the boat so I don't run aground. We navigate up through here. It's a little protected channel, it's all no wake zone. Comes out into the harbor right here, and then we're going right there to the Prince Rupert Rowing Yacht Club is where we're going. And there's a fuel dock right next to it we're going to hit first. This right here is where we're going to. And this is why I like AIS, all these little boats. That's the game plan for today. It takes a lot of work to put together our videos and our YouTube channel, both with capturing of the video and then all the video editing, and, you know, splicing everything together. Lazina's got to fix all my mistakes and edit all that stuff out. That's always fun. And but we have a blast doing it. We love all the interaction with every one of you guys. We love hearing from you, and that's a motivator for us. It keeps us making more and more videos. So, however, there is a cost to putting all the videos and stuff together. You know, and you know, operating a boat is not cheap, as you guys all know. And as a result, we've had several folks ask us, how can they support us, right? So that we keep making videos and stuff. Well, Lazina just started a business in our spare bedroom. She's making shirts like this, you know, custom embroidery. She does all the work herself. The funny boat shirts you see me wear, she makes all of those. She's making tumblers, coffee cups. She'll put your boat name on them. She'll do captain, first mate on the cups, whatever you want to have printed on them. She doesn't outsource any of it. She does all that work herself. She's the creative brain behind all this, where I'm not the creative one. I'm more of the engineer. That's why I'm usually in front of the camera, and she's a bit camera shy, so she's not in front of the camera nearly as often. But just know that our YouTube channel was her idea, and it wouldn't exist without her. So anyway, you know, she's worried that she's not going to get any orders. And I think it'd be fantastic if we came back from the Southeast Alaska trip and she had an overwhelming amount of orders. Right, so that's one way to support us, channelsurfingcreations.com. Other ways is if you go to letsgochannelsurfing.com. That's the webpage. I run the webpage for the most part. You know, I've got all kinds of information about all the upgrades I've done to the boat. I've actually got a bunch more content that I need to add to it and stuff. But there's an Amazon affiliate drop down there, and that's all the stuff that we buy on Amazon that we like and we use for the boat. If you click any of those links, we'll get a couple pennies if you were to buy anything off Amazon. You don't pay anything more for what you're paying for Amazon. It just helps us out a lot too. In addition, if you just want to donate money, there's two ways you can do that. buymeacoffee.com/channelsurfing is one way, or you can go to PayPal, which would be PayPal/PayPalme/channelsurfing. You can donate money to us that way. We also have a P.O. box that we can accept mail to. All of this can be found in any of the descriptions on our videos on YouTube, or if you go to our YouTube channel and click on the About page there, you'll find this information there as well. And lastly, it always helps us if you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We're trying to really grow our subscriber count on this trip. You know, we're just over almost 3,200 subscribers now. So I'd like that number to be like 5,000 or more. So think big. So anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for the continued support. And if you have any comments or feedback, be sure to leave them in the comment section below.
If you enjoyed watching this video, click the screen to watch another.